Hello, everyone. My name is Kamran Akbarzadeh, founder of Dream Achievers Academy and author of award-winning books, Leadership Soup and Get What You Want. I'm here today with another interview from my Better Business Tactics interview series that I started a couple of weeks ago. And it's really been great because I bring other business owners and we talk about their business, and then they share their challenges, some tactics, how they bring clients, how they interact with clients, what is their ideal customer. So we're going to have these sort of discussions with any business owner that comes into the interview series. And today I have yet another great business owner who is also a dentist. So now we're talking to a dentist who now teaches other dentists how to have a better business, which is great because that works for many other businesses. So today we're going to also have some sales tips from our guest. My guest today is Dr. Anthony Matheny, or Tony. Dr. Matheny has been a dentist for 30 years and currently practices in Port St. Lucie, Florida. He is a Ziegler Legacy certified trainer, speaker, and coach. Tony is the founder of Dr. Sales Academy, which is a great name, as online video training program for dentists to teach them all aspects of sales training in order to be able to sell more of their activity services to increase collections and get more customers to get the work done they want and need. And I think this really goes beyond just dentists. It could be doctors, anyone really, any sort of business that you have to interact with clients, even to make a coaching business. Dr. Matheny has been able to increase his acceptance of treatment to 3 times the national average and enjoys teaching others to do the same. And that's why I have him here. Thank you very much, Tony, for being my guest today on Better Business Tactics interview series.
Thank you so much for having me. It's good to be here.
Thank you. So let's start with this question. Can you now give us a little bit more background about your business and how you really started? You're a dentist, how you decided to teach other dentists?
Yeah, probably a little over 10 years ago, I took a course that had nothing to do with dentistry. It was about business and administrative work, management training, and sales training. And the sales training I found extremely fascinating, very interesting, because when I learned how sales experts sell their products and services, I was amazed because it was completely opposite of what me and my fellow dentists do to sell our services. And I was saying, does this stuff really work? And they're like, yeah, we didn't reinvent the wheel here. This is sales techniques that have been proven for the last century. And it's just learning about people, what makes people buy and not buy, what to do, what not to do, what not to say, to make people feel comfortable enough. They have to know us, like us, and trust us enough to go forward with us and do business with us. But so when I learned the sales strategies, I was reluctant to ever learn sales training in the past as a dentist, because I didn't want to be perceived as unprofessional or unethical or being like really aggressive or high pressure or pushy, like you hear about used car salesmen do, where they push it,
yeah,
sales to you, and they have, nobody likes to feel like somebody's trying to push a sale on us that we don't want or need. So I didn't think it was something that applied to me. When I learned these strategies and saw that they were techniques, tips, and strategies that were coming from a very good standpoint. In other words, they weren't aggressive or pushy or high pressure. It was talking to people the way you would talk to somebody that you love. It was, I call it selling from the heart, not the wallet. And it was selling with integrity. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And so I started applying some of these techniques, and it worked like magic, and was really perceived well by my patients. They even commented how they could tell how much I care about my patients. But we're afraid, and a lot of doctors and a lot of business owners in general don't even believe they're in sales. But anytime you're exchanging your product or service for money, that's sales. So nothing happens in a business until a sale is made, right? So everything begins once you make a sale. So you can't help anybody if they don't say yes. But learning what to do, I just, I've been in dentistry for 30 years, but I never had formal sales training. We never got taught that in dental school, and even since then. So I started applying these
Yeah,
strategies, and it really made a big difference in my office because it was completely different. It was a little uncomfortable at first because what common sense tells us and what's comfortable to us is often different than what really works. So it's not, once you start applying
exactly.
it and seeing that how well it works and how well it is perceived by people, it makes you a believer. And so once I learned this, I'm like, I can't believe this information is not out there being taught to everybody. And I just don't see it taught anywhere. So I'm like, I'm going to develop a program and teach everybody every aspect of sales training that I can so they can reap some of the same benefits that I have.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I really like what you said. Really, any business without having a sales strategy cannot succeed in long term. Now, let's just go back a little bit from the time you said you got a sales training. What made you to get that sales training in the first place?
Well, I think I just signed up for a practice management course that taught all aspects of running a business. And of course, sales training
Okay.
was part of it. So I didn't go out looking for sales training. I just came across it, and I didn't even think I had a need for it. But then I started learning and looking at the statistics and how I knew that our acceptance rate, in other words, the amount of people that say yes to our recommendations in dentistry, at least, is very low. You're talking about 25, 30% say yes. So 2/3 of the people walk out the door and don't schedule or pay for their treatment because we haven't done our job making them feel comfortable enough to go forward. It's not just because they don't have the money. We haven't sold them on the treatment that's needed. And there's just ways of doing it.
Exactly.
And a lot of people don't know why they say no. A lot of times people say no, they don't have the money, but it's really not the money. They need more information. They're not sold, or they need somebody to stay with them a little bit longer and let them work through all the resistance that's going on in their head, that way, and then stick with them. So I just came across
So
it kind of
we're
by
going to get
accident.
to some of the
Yeah.
We're going to get to some of the tips later in our conversation. But for now, I want to know what sort of products or services do you provide to your customers, like dentists or others? Do you have a product like a training or a service also like coaching?
Yeah, as of right now, of course, I'll be continuing to expand the ways I can help people. But as of right now, I do have a online video training program that I call Dr. Sales Academy. It's a series of approximately 42 short videos, but it's delivered in modules over like a 9-week period of time. So it goes over everything from how to prepare for the presentation in advance, how to do the examination, how to explain the service that you have to offer, how to ask for the sale, how to handle the money part of it to where the person's not overwhelmed, and then how to handle all the objections that we get every day and all that too. So it's a comprehensive course that I've been working on for quite a while, but it's up available now that people can enroll in the course. I am just now starting to do some speaking, get out there and help get the word out that way. And I'm just now launching a monthly membership site called Sales Mastery Monthly, where it'll be a subscription program where they can sign up. And then once a month, we put a video training out to learn more information about that. But I'm in the process of putting together like more of an individual coaching program. And I just came up with a team training manual. So what I'm going to be doing is training individual offices. Like if a doctor wants me to train him and his staff on all these techniques where we can actually role play and practice them all so they can feel comfortable with each other before they talk to their patients, I can come out to their office and do it, or I can do it virtually like we're doing, kind of like over Zoom that way. So I just created a manual. I just used the manual for the first time with my team a couple of Fridays ago, and it went really well. They really enjoyed the manual and the training, got a lot out of it. And so I'm going to start opening that up as well. So we're kind of still in the beginning phases of some of this, but I got some up and going now. Others will be coming soon.
Wow, that's great. So you started with an online training and now you're expanding it to even expand to the team, not just the doctor himself or herself. So now let's talk about a little bit going deeper into the sales side. Why do you think there is such a need for sales training among business owners, especially doctors? Because I think in our mind, normally doctors have a very good income, and no matter how many patients go there, but still they have lots of income. What is there that you think as a dentist and doctor, you think that is lacking in the business that doctors have?
Well, I think I believe that the problem is that You're right. I mean, doctors have a good income, but a lot of them are working. It's a very stressful job, so a lot of them are
Yeah.
working way harder than they want to be, but they have to work that hard in order to meet their expenses and bills. And especially with dentists, we have the highest overhead of anybody in the health professions. So,
Mhm.
people think you have a doctor behind your name, you're instantly wealthy, but it's just not the case. I mean, you have a lot of overhead and there's a lot of stress running this business. But, I just find that a lot of doctors either working very crazy schedules where they're seeing a lot of patients, work a lot of hours, to try to meet their goals, or a lot of them just aren't busy as you might think they are. I know a lot of doctors that have a lot of openings in their schedule and they're not as busy. They don't have as many people coming in as they would like. They try to market their practice and get the word out and all that, but it's not always easy. So I've just found that by learning how to sell, it gave me a couple choices. By learning how to sell better, like the number one main motivating fact for me, learning how to sell, is to be able to help more people. Because if I'm not saying and doing the right things to get most of my patients to come forward, they're not getting the treatment they want and need, which means they're not going to be as comfortable. They're not going to be as healthy. I'm here to, yes, make a living, but I'm also here to help people. And I can't help as many people if I don't know how to handle them and make them feel comfortable enough going forward with working with me and having me do their dental treatment. So what's really lacking is none of us got trained on how to sell anything, as far as like in dental school or medical school. So I think doctors, when a patient gives us an objection of any kind, we walk away and end the conversation there because we don't want to be pushy. We're trying to be very professional. We don't want to be aggressive and overbearing. But a lot of times patients give us that objection, not because they don't want to do it, because they need more information. They're not sold yet. And they just, and it actually means they're engaged in the conversation when they give us objections. So I just think that, this is needed among everybody really, because like I said, we can't help other people. We can't reach our own goals financially if we don't make sales. And what we think works, what the common sense tells us, doesn't work well with the average person. So just learning some basic sales strategies can really, really help going forward. There's just a big need for that. And doctors stay away from sales because they don't feel like it's a place for them. But when I learned it, I was surprised that everything I learned was, like I said, selling with integrity, good morals, good ethics, and it wasn't shady sales techniques.
Yeah, very good. Now, Tony, when I look at your business, you have your kind of business, like as a dentist, you serve patients, right? And then you've gone meta, and then you are serving now dentists and doctors in sales. And now, a question that I have for you is, how do you reach your ideal customers on both sides? One is like the patients when they come. Do you have a strategy to bring them in, or just they come and then you practice your like the sales, or you attract them to pay for the services? And then how do you attract your ideal customers, mainly the doctors that want to go through your training?
Yeah, so far as the dental side, far as my patients, we get a lot of our patients from Google reviews. So everybody's reading reviews now with everything before they buy it. And, we've done that with products on Amazon, other places like that, but people are doing it for services as well, too. They want to see that other people had good experiences, or if they had bad experiences, they want to know that. So we pride ourselves on our reviews. We got a lot of, we have over 150 5-star reviews on Google. Our rating is continue to be 5-star. So a lot of people Google us and they read our reviews and they come in because of that. And then probably the second biggest way we attract people through our social media or our Facebook page, where we post things about our office and things that we're doing. So we get patients that way. So we've done mainly just post on there, but we've done some ads on Facebook as well to target our ideal patients in our area for us. So and then just like I said, word of mouth. So word of mouth and our reviews and through social media has been the main avenues. It used to be phone book ads and things like that, but obviously nobody's really using them anymore. So that's kind of like the main ways we're doing things right now as far as the patients. Now, as far as attracting doctors to kind of work with and train, like I said, I kind of developed the video training course first, and now I'm trying to figure out really how to get the word out there to doctors and how to help more doctors with this, because you can have the greatest course in the world, just like you can be the greatest dentist in the world, but if nobody finds out about you or what you can do, you still may not be very busy. So I have done, I put a private Facebook group together. I'm putting some information on social media, and I belong to some dental groups different groups on Facebook where dentists are always looking for advice on in these dental groups. So I'm going in there and posting some on the forums and letting them know that I can help them with some of their problems and helping them to help more patients by getting more people to say yes and feel comfortable with them. And then, like I said, I'm going to be doing some speaking and some in-office training here soon. So just kind of help spread the word that way.
Very good, very good. So you're just playing lots of roles here
Yeah.
as a trainer as well. So, some great advice there. I think we can refer to those in a little bit. But before that, I wanted to ask you if, let's say, there is someone like another doctor, maybe you've gone to a conference or something, and then another doctor is in elevator with you, and then they ask, what do you do? In one sentence, you have just a few seconds. In one sentence, what would you say about the service that you provide to other doctors that kind of they would say, I want to know more?
Yeah, I would simply tell them that I'm the founder of Doctor Sales Academy. I train doctors and their staff how to sell more of their services so that more patients can get more of the work done they want and need, and the office can not only survive but thrive. So by increasing collections, we're going to help decrease your overhead and decrease your stress and give you a better quality of life.
Very good. That's great. So you have your elevator pitch ready.
There you go.
So now let's talk about the challenges. What is one of the biggest challenges that you have faced in your business, and have you been able to resolve them?
Yeah, as far as my sales training for doctors, it is a challenge. Like you kind of have this mentality, like if you build a really great product, that it's like the baseball movie, build it and they will come. Like you feel like I put together this great course and I'm going to be flooded with people who are just going to magically find out about it and want to enroll and buy it because it's so good. It's so impactful. It's going to really help their business. But it's harder than I thought to get the word out, that way. And it's like, unless you're somebody who wants to come in and spend a ton of money on ads trying to target that. But even then it's tricky because not everybody sees the ads and all this too, for sure. So really that's the biggest challenge that I've had, I think, is trying to get the word out of what I have available and how I can help people. Because a lot of them, people nowadays, as they're skeptical, and they don't want to put money on something without knowing not knowing your product is really good. So I think the beginning is the hardest. Once you start getting some clients and some more testimonials, then you start building momentum, and then the word starts spreading. And the more you get known, the better off it can be. So one of the things I'm going to do for myself going forward, I think will help, is just get out there more on social media, kind of like you're doing more, as far as get out there, start making more regular videos and put them up on YouTube, and getting more active on LinkedIn, making more connections that way, and on Facebook, and just getting out there and getting perceived as an expert and a guru in this space. I think rather than me trying to go more in front of them, I think if I can get myself out there more, I'll have more people, more of my ideal customer will be coming to me saying, hey, how can we learn from you? How can we learn some of these strategies that I'm seeing you're putting in these videos? And of course, it's a whole lot easier to make a sale to help somebody when they're coming to you rather than you trying to push something on them.
Perfect. I think that's exactly my sort of idea is here, that I think in this decade, a lot of people now are active online, and all of these social media coming with live streaming. And that's really important for business owners to be there, for people to start trusting them. And that's when you see some more flow of coming. And the other point that I liked when you shared it previously was really Google search for those who have businesses that are located, like the physical presence somewhere. And personally, I always do that. I just go to Google search, and then the highest ranking and the closest to me would win, right? So it's now the new kind of normal for finding the best businesses and services. So very good, and thank you for sharing that. Now, let's go back to some sales tips. Can you share with us and whoever is watching this interview, and any I think so business owner can benefit, some 4 or 5 sales tips to help increase sales in someone's business?
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to. Like I said, because these things, when I learned these strategies. Like I said, it made a big difference for me. And of course, like I said, each one of these strategies, we could talk hours about each one of them, but I'll give you the highlights of them in a brief time we have here today to just to start opening up the possibilities and let people know what things they can do. So one of the first things that I would go over, first tip is when you're talking to anybody about any product or service you have as a business owner, it's really important to ask questions. Asking questions is huge for sales. You might say, well, why is that so important? Well, you want to know what's important for your customer or your prospect in front of you. You want to know what's important to them. What is their main concern? What's important to them? What are they here to do? If the moment you start talking to somebody about something that they feel doesn't apply to them or they're interested in, guess what? They're going to tune you out and kind of ignore you the rest of the conversation that way. So if you can ask questions in the beginning before you kind of get into your sales talk to find out what's important to them, then you learn a lot of information when you talk to somebody and ask them questions about what do they want, what do they feel is important to them. Give you a quick example, like if I have an elderly man in my chair and I start talking to him about how we can do this tooth whitening to brighten up his smile and everything, and he may be sitting there going, hey, doc, I just want to be able to chew my food. I could care less how they look, right? So kind of sell him on whitening, he's going to be thinking, man, this guy is not what I'm interested in hearing about. It has nothing to do with me. This doesn't apply to me. So he kind of tunes me out. But if I ask him up front in the beginning, before I go over what I can do to help him, I'll say, hey, how important is the appearance of your smile? He might say, I could care less. Okay, check that one off the box. What about as far as chewing ability? Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I don't have enough teeth to chew. I need some more teeth to eat with. And, what about as far as comfort level or keeping emergencies, away? What do you think about, as far as the longevity of your teeth? How important is that? So you kind of learn, and then you know how to cater your talk or your presentation based on what they need. So it's so crucial. Then when you start giving your talk and telling them about what you can do for them, how you can help them out, what product or service you have available, you're only going to mention those things that fit in with their wants and needs, and they're going to feel like your talk is catered and customized to them. And boy, they're really going to pay attention. They're going to feel like this guy really gets me. He's really talking my lingo and what I want to hear. So that's such a crucial part, is to ask questions so you can learn what's important to your client before you start getting into everything. Make sense?
Definitely makes sense. Yeah. So asking your client for what they need.
Yeah. It may seem like a simple thing, but most people just get right into what they have available, trying to sell them on things.
Exactly. So it's similar to talking about features versus benefits that we normally hear, right?
Absolutely. So, no, you're dead on. You're absolutely right. It's like there's a lot of benefits. Anything you're selling, there's a lot of benefits to doing it, right? But which benefits do you want to present? All of them? Well, why not just present the benefits that are important to your client or your prospect in front of you? It saves you a lot of time. It makes you laser focus on what they really want. So that kind of brings us into the second tip here. The second tip has to do with benefits. Okay. So with anything any business we have, any product or service we're selling, there's benefits to what we have, right? And there's also risk of not doing it or not buying that product or not getting that service. What's going to happen to them if they don't get it? Okay. So how much worse off are they going to be? Is it going to cost them more aggravation later, more money later, or whatever? So back touching on benefits. So everybody tends to talk about like in dentistry, we tend to talk about the health benefits. Like when I put this crown on your tooth, it's going to make your tooth stronger. It's going to make it, less likely to break, and it's going to last longer and all that stuff. But you want to always include emotional benefits when you're going over anything. You want to talk about how good it's going to make them feel. They're going to have the confidence to chew without being in pain. They're going to, or if you're doing something that's going to make them look better or look younger or have more confidence, more self-esteem. Yes. These are all emotional benefits. And there's a saying in sales that say people buy based on emotion, and then they justify that purchase based on facts, right? If it's January and the Super Bowl is coming up, and I see a big 60-inch TV at Best Buy at our electronics store, I don't need a 60-inch TV. I want that 60-inch TV because I picture myself on the couch with my friends and neighbors, all watching the Super Bowl on this big screen TV and having a great time. And so I buy it. But when I get home with that TV, my wife's like, why'd you buy such a big TV for? I'm like, well, the old one was starting to get fuzzy and the sound was going out on it a little bit. And, you know, again, that's not why I bought it. I bought it because of the emotional appeal to me, right? But I'm trying to justify it to her using other facts, right? So we do this all the time in sales. So you got to appeal to people's emotions. You want to give those other benefits, but you want to make sure you throw in the emotional benefits as well, because that's what sells it. That's what means the most to people. And then we talked about like the risk of not doing it, where, you know, if you don't buy this product or service, what's going to happen? Any negative aspect that may happen to them, they may cost more money in the long run, have to go through more aggravation, go through pain, whatever. You always want to make sure you include the risk. And the reason is, if you can do benefits and risk, that's great. But if you can't do both, risk, the risk of doing nothing is actually more important than even doing the benefits. And the reason is that what we gain through the benefits is not as motivating as what we're going to lose by not doing it. So the risk of loss is more motivating than the benefit of gain, right? We might say, yeah, we tell them what we can gain from it, and they might think, oh, yeah, that might be important, but it's not that important. When you start telling them what's going to happen if they don't do it, that's a lot more motivating than what they're going to gain by doing it. So both are good to do, but don't leave out the risk of doing nothing. Okay, that's a big key.
Nothing. Exactly. Very good. Thank you.
So I got another point here for you to bring up, that one of the big things that people do when they bring up about the money. Almost every time you bring up the money of whatever you have to sell, product or service, it's usually more money than what the prospect or the customer or the patient thought it was going to be. It's always more money than what they thought, right? So because of that, they're a little bit taken back, a little bit overwhelmed, a little bit flustered, like, wow, you know, that's $5,000. Wow. And they can't even think straight at that moment. They're like, I don't have any money for that. And they kind of react like that, right? Without even trying to think about it, because they're kind of shocked. They got shocked by the fee. It was more than they thought. When somebody is shocked, it's almost being like confused and overwhelmed. They don't feel comfortable to buy at that moment. So they often leave saying, what? I have to think about it. I have to talk to my spouse. You know, I'll get back to you on this or whatever. So one strategy that really helps is, before you give the actual fee of whatever the product or service you're selling, mentioning another example of a higher fee. Just making up an example, like say I'm looking at back to the TV example. If I'm buying a TV and I go up and say, hey, I'm interested in a 40-inch TV. How much is it? And you tell me it's $1,000. $1,000? I thought it was going to be cheaper than that. I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm probably not going to buy it right now because I'm kind of shocked by the fee, right? But if you come in and tell me you want a 40-inch TV, and I tell you, oh, I'm glad that 40-inch TV is going to fit your wants and your needs, because if you needed like a 60 or 70-inch TV, we're probably looking at $5,000 for that. $5,000. Well, they get shocked by hearing the $5,000, and they get overwhelmed by that. And you say, but thank goodness for you, you only need a 40-inch TV, so the cost is going to be probably just under $1,000. When you say $1,000, then after mentioning the other example first, they sit there calmly, reasonably, rationally. They're like, $1,000. Okay, well, I got $500 on my credit card. I could probably put it on. Do you have financing? You know, and again, they're trying to figure it out because they're not overwhelmed at that moment. They got overwhelmed on the other fee. So it's not trickery. It's just you're saying honest things here, but it's knowing how people work and knowing how they react. You need people to be calm and not overwhelmed or shocked, or they're not going to go forward with whatever you have. So it's just learning, tips like that as well. And
very good. This was really nice. Very good.
Yeah. So it helps a lot. And one final one to leave you here with is that most people, it's so funny, they don't ask for the sale. So what I would suggest is that, a lot of people are good about telling them what they have available, what they can do for them, the benefits, the risk, even what the cost is. But then often we don't come up and actually ask for the sale. One statistic that blew me away is that 62% of people presenting anything to a prospect or a customer, 62% of the time they never ask for the sale, don't even give the person a chance to say yes. Because why not? Well, that's the part where people feel uncomfortable asking for the sale because they might fear rejection, right? And so that's the part they can say no and shoot them down. So we tend to avoid that. We hope that we give them enough great information. They'll say, okay, I'll take it. Where do I buy it? Sign me up. But often people aren't that extroverted to do that. So we need to ask closing questions to get that commitment, a closing question or a closing statement. An example would just be to say, like, what do you think of this? Is that going to work for you in your situation? Or in my office, I'll say a lot of times, so Mrs. Jones, what do you say we go ahead and get this done before it turns into a bigger, harder, more expensive project for yourself? See, I'm kind of
Yeah.
giving them another benefit of doing it, but I'm trying to get that commitment from the patient to say yes. And not all of them say yes. And the ones that say no, you want to make sure you really follow up with them later through phone calls and letters to get the sale later if they don't go forward. But believe me, if you follow these tips we just went over here, it'll make a huge difference in your business of no matter what kind it really is.
Definitely. I think the last one also really makes a lot of sense. It's like call to action, and then you help them make that final decision. If I just leave them with
Right.
all those things that I mentioned, they may not be able to decide. So they're waiting for me to kind of approve that decision with them, which is great. Thank you so much for sharing these 4 great tips. And I think this is really applicable anywhere. Yeah. I would say. So thanks a lot for sharing these techniques, strategies, whatever we call them, tactics with those who are listening and watching. So now let's go to the future of your business. What is the ideal future or the vision that you have for your business?
Well, I'd love to, like I said, my biggest thing is just impact. I want to impact as many dentists' lives, because I feel bad in a lot of ways for my fellow doctor, because we spent a lot of years and a lot of money becoming a dentist. And then there's literally students getting out of dental school and opening up their own practice close to $1 million in debt before they even made their first dollar. They're coming out of dental school, $500,000 in debt, and another $300,000 to $500,000 to open up their own practice. And they come out thinking they're going to do so well. And a lot of times they run into a lot of challenges about, to make their business successful. So I just want to try to ease some of the burden, help the doctors be able to, survive and thrive during these times. And obviously their patients are going to benefit as well by getting more of the dentistry done they want and need. So really everybody wins. So my ideal scenario is to be able to get as many dentists into my online training, to be able to obviously get out there through speaking and through some in-office training. I mean, I can't help everybody, but I can help one office at a time make a difference, in their lives and their patients' lives. So that's my ideal situation, is be able to touch as many as I can in the time that I'm here on earth.
Exactly. No, really, that's the significant part of the life, that we want to touch people's lives through the services, and we know that this is adding value to them, so they thrive as well. Very good. Thank you for sharing that. Now, Tony, what about, I always say that almost everyone needs help, but not everyone asks for help. Now, if I ask you what sort of help you need in your business, that you kind of ask others to help you with, what would that be?
Well, probably it's just, if there's, if I have that talking to a group of people and asked, and they said, look, how can we help you? I'd probably say, just if anybody has experience, selling a program, like a training program like this for others, that might be effective, especially in a healthcare or to doctors, obviously let me know. I'm trying to get out there on social media. I'm testing the waters with that. And like I said, I'm going to try doing some speaking. And like I mentioned to you, I think getting out there more, just making more videos and getting out there to show people what you're able to do and what, how you can help them is going to help me. But I'm sure there's some other strategies. I would like to, I know there's, for example, like there's companies that have a lot of clients that are dentists, like dental supply companies or dental laboratories that work for dentists, figuring out how to connect with them in order to be able to have them help market my training, to their clients. Because if I can teach their clients how to sell more dentistry, they're going to have, need more supplies, more higher lab bill. And so their business will benefit as well. But I think joint ventures is a big key. I just need more help on trying to figure that out and how to do that.
Yeah. So what is called like affiliations, and then you pay commission when they refer people.
Exactly.
Putting on their website, things like that. Great thing. I think that's a great way of requesting help or working with others. I think collaboration with others that complement your business and other doctors' business. It doesn't really matter which industry we're talking about. It's just complementing your business and working with them. You bring them more business, they bring you more business. So this reciprocation is going to work. So before we close out this, I want to ask you if you have heard or learned or read business advice that you want to share, like you've read something in a book or you've heard it from someone, what is that sort of advice that you've heard and you can share?
Yeah, I think that it all comes down to me to relationships, that way. And I think business advice is with, any business we have. I think if anytime a customer or a prospect or a patient feels like that we come across desperate to them, or if they feel like we have our best interest at stake more than theirs, they're going to sense that. And people are really open to that nowadays. Everybody's afraid of getting scammed and taken advantage of. So my biggest advice to anybody in a business is, really be compassionate and empathetic for people. And so to me, that's a big key, is don't fake compassion. Truly care and show people. Zig Ziglar, who I worked with him in his company, they used to say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And there's so much
care.
Yeah, there's so much truth to that. So work on establishing the relationship first. And then I have patients here that their insurance could change, and they may not be able to benefit as much staying with me, but because they trust me, they stay here no matter what, because I've built that relationship with them. They're not going to go down the road to save $10 on their cleaning, whatever that way. So building those relationships is probably, to me, one of the most important things you could do.
Very good, very good. Definitely building relationships, that brings trust, and that brings more business. Very good. Thank you so much. Now, the last thing is, how can people reach you, learn more about the services you provide? Do you have a website, or I know you have profiles on Facebook, you have a Facebook group. Can you share a little bit more about how people can reach you?
Sure, yeah. So to get more information, they can go, I have a public figure Facebook page. It's Dr. Tony Matheny, and it's just Dr. then Tony, Tony, and then Matheny, Matheny. So drtonymatheny.com is a website, and on that website at the top of the page, they could sign up for some free sales training, where there's 3 videos they can get. Doesn't cost them anything, no obligation to buy anything, and it gives them some great tips and pointers in that training. So that's one way they can learn more. They can obviously leave me a message there, or you can go to my Facebook page, which is, it's Dr. Tony Matheny as well. So drtonymatheny.com website to get the free training, or you can reach out on my Facebook page, Dr. Tony Matheny, private message me if you like, and I'd be happy to contact you and see how we can work together.
Very good, Dr. Tony Matheny. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong at the beginning. I should have asked you before. So just go to Facebook or anywhere, I think anywhere else, Dr. Tony Matheny is the one that you can search, connect with, and that's the way to start. And hopefully you can connect and gain some benefits. Very good. Thank you so much, Tony, for being with me today. I'm going to post this one also on our Better Business Tactics Facebook group. And if you are a business owner that you want to share some tactics, and also you want to share something about your business, please just have your comment here under this video or send me a message. We'll connect, and I can also do the same interview with you. And that's about it. Thank you very much. And until next time, have a great day and go out there and serve others.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it.
Sure. Thank you.